So now we are working on to the list and looking here that what is the list now. So here list is a generic vector containing the other object. Okay, so list is basically a generic vector which is containing the other objects in sequenced order. So we can create the list with any heterogeneous data as well, mixed data as well, with the homogeneous data, heterogeneous data, both of the data we can mix it here into the list. So this is a way of creating the list here. One can see it here. Simply one has to create the simple vector, and then we can pass on this vector with a list keyword here. So suppose here I created just 3 vectors here. Okay, with the different data types here, and then passed on all these 3 vectors to the list object now. We can do the slicing also into the list. So let's see how to create it now. So here we are. So here suppose I want to see what is the list here. So with the help also I can just take it out. What are the details of the list? So here it can just give it. See here, list is a generic and dotted pairs basically. It is a function to construct, coerce and check for both kinds of our list here. So one can create the list here. So what we can pass it here inside the list, we can pass out the elements here. So what I can do here, I can just write here vec1. Okay. Any vector you can create it here. And here you can just pass it out any vector, any value one can pass it here into the list. And it is a normal vector, but this vector should be passed into the list. So list, list object you have to call, and inside it just one has to pass out this vector. So list is holding that vector. So one can see when I had created the vector here, this particular vector. So this vector is there, and here one has to pass on to the list. So this is vector created here, this one, and this has to be passed into the list. So you can see how the list is appearing. This one is the list actually, right? So list object is there. We can create it in simple way here. Now see here, suppose I'm creating any other list. I can just, suppose here I'm just creating a vector, simple way vector. G is the vector. And here I'm just putting this G as a vector here. Certain data here I'm just giving as the A, B, C, D. So basically list is a simple collection of data again. It is a kind of collection of data. But the data could be in any data type. Okay, that is possible here. So here I can just give inside the list here, just you can pass out the G here, right? And see here, it is the list is created. Even I can create certain more data here. Suppose here one can see it here. Suppose here I'm just creating a vector here. City is a vector, simple vector here I'm just creating. And inside it, I can just give certain city names here. Any city names here I can just give. Suppose New York, London, but I have to give it into double quotes here. Double quotes here. Here I'm just giving San Francisco. Any other name you can choose it. Suppose Perth is there. Now here, suppose here I'm just giving city. So city is a normal vector, but I can pass this city vector into the list here. Here I'm just passing it, so you can see it here. So it is there. Okay, I just passed the city into the list here. So it is just showing it here. Now at the same time, I can use any other as well. You can see it here. Suppose I had created a vector 2. Okay, with the soil, flame, earth and sky. Okay, once I will create it here, and you can see it here, I'm running it here. So it is created. But at the same time, if I want to see vector 2, one can see it here. And if I want to give it here, second list, here list, I want to assign this list vector into the another list, and into the another named variable, that also I can do it here. See here, it is assigned here. So we are creating what? We are creating here the simple vector and passing this vector into the list and storing this list data into the another variable. We can do that. It is still there, right? Now here you can see this one. Suppose I had created with a Boolean data as well, that also I can do it here. The same way I created a Boolean vector, then pass this Boolean vector into the list. Okay, that also I can do it. But here you can see one more thing, that I had created the 3 vectors now, right? So when we had created the 3 vectors, we can pass all the 3 vectors into the single list. Suppose here I had created a vector 1, vector 2, and vector 3. One is consisted of integer, the second one is consisted of this particular string, the third one is consisted of Boolean. So we can pass all these 3 into the list here. You can see we had passed all the 3 vectors, 1, 2, 3 here into the list. So you can see it here, it is working. Click click here onto the run button. See here, I just click, I selected entirely, clicked here onto the run button, it is giving there. So what it is showing you, it is just showing you here, this one, all these details are there. Okay, so in this way we can create a simple list. We can pass it out here. You can see it here. Suppose here I had just create the list data with a mix also. I can mix the data. Okay, you can see here I just passed the other data here. And inside it also I created one more vector and Boolean value and the float value. Float value means decimal value. So here I can just pass it, all this mixed data here into the list, and it will be created. See, the list is created here by this one. When I ran it here, all these things, it is running. Now if you want to do the indexing here, okay, so just you want to see what is the data as the first element here. So one can see it here. It is saying red. See here, it is saying red. Why? Because the data is here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in that way it is. So if we want to see out what is that element of the first one, so it will be showing you the same one here, right? If one wants to see what is the data as the second element, one can see it here, white it is showing, right? So in that way. If you want to see any other data, fifth data, okay, so it will be there. Fifth data it is showing you. Now suppose here sixth data you want to replace with a new data. Any new data you want to give it here on the sixth place, sixth index. You can do it in this way. And here it is given. And when you check out the again list data here, okay, so you see here, it is just showing you the list with the red, white, 1, 2, 3, true here, and see here at the sixth new data is added. Okay, so it means data can be added inside the list, okay, whenever required. And whenever you want to remove any element into the list here, so here, suppose here what is null? Now let's see what is null. So basically suppose if I check it out the data here, suppose here I'm just writing list data, and here I want to write 5. What is the data of the 5 here? It is saying 22.5 is the value. But at the same time, I want to change this value with the no data. Okay, I want to remove that element here. So here, if I'm running it here, I said that into the fifth index, just put a null. Null means missing data. So it is done. And when I am checking it again, that what is the, wait, just. Instead of here, I have to write it here, workspace. List data. So here you can see the fifth element is not present. So it means null is just to remove the value. If I want to remove the element here, so that's why I put it here. So here I had mentioned this statement. Okay. So this statement here, I'm just putting it again. I'm saving it. Okay, so list data 5 is equal to null. So this particular fifth element is null. Now there is no fifth element now. When I checked it, There's no fifth element here. It has been deleted now, removed now. Now we can merge the list as well. Suppose I want to merge 2-3 lists in a one list, that also we can do this here. So suppose here I'm creating the new list here. Suppose this one is there here. This is one list I had created. I'm running it now. So I had created this num list, and there's a day list also. There's a second list. Okay, I'm just running it. So 2 lists I had created. Now I want to add these 2 lists in. So how? Simply I have to write here C num first list day list. Means both of the list name I have to provide it here into the vector. Okay, so it means I can add the 2 lists. I can merge the 2 lists into one. So simply by this statement I can merge the list here. And if I want to see what is the list data now, total. So here it is showing me all the data. See here from here to here. It is just adding all the data of the 2 list. So the point is here we can make the 2 list and make it as a 1. So that is known as a merge list here. So here one can see list 1, list 2, and here you are merging the whole list. Num list and the second list here, and you're merging the list. Okay. Now suppose here there is certain more generating the list here. Suppose here I'm just writing, I want to generate any number. I want to generate any number. So what I can do, I can simply write here. Suppose here I'm just writing simple way. Suppose I want to write here, generate the data between 1 to 10. So if I click it here, so it is generating the data between 1 to 10. So 1 range 10. So it means start the data from 1 end up to 10. Okay, so it is generating the data. Okay, suppose here I'm just writing generate the data between 1 to 5. So in this way I can generate the data. Generate the data between 2 to 8. It is generating the data between 2 to 8. So that is also possible. We can generate the direct data. Right? The simple way, suppose I'm just writing the same thing. List, generate the data between 1 to 10. So simply directly generating also we can do it. It will internally generate the data with the help of this function, range function. I call this function as the range. So here what I am doing it here, simple way I'm just writing, generate the data between 1 to 10 and store it into the list format. Simple. So it will be generating the data between 1 to 10 and storing it into the list format here. I'm clicking it here, it is just say here run. So it is just storing the data into the list format. If I'm writing it here I'm just writing it. List, here I'm just writing, generate the data between 2 to 8, suppose. So it will be generating the data between 2 to, starting from 2 to 8. So in this way we can do it, and we can even store these data. If I'm running it here, suppose even I'm running from -5 to 5, suppose this one. So it means -5 to 5. So it is generating the data. You can see -5 to 5, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, then starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5 here. Now suppose here I can store this data into the another list here. See, it is there. Okay, I can hold this data. I can hold this data into the another list here. Okay, so in that way we can just create the simple list. Okay, and make certain basic operations. So we had learned about the basics of list now.